to another episode of EveryRing, that's everything wrestling. Today's is a very interesting what if. What if Jerry Jarrett purchased WWE from Vince Sr.? A bit of a backstory. Jerry had an historical interest in buying and acquiring wrestling promotions. Jerry had an interest in buying and improving wrestling promotions. He was known for his work in the Mid-South, Continental and United States Wrestling Association. Vince Sr. was looking to sell WWF and he made the offer open. Vince McMahon Jr. was interested but didn't have the money, but Jerry Jarrett did. WWE. The entire wrestling landscape would be vastly different. Again, Jerry Jarrett was a big influence in Southern wrestling and was basically born in the business. Biggest shift would be roster development and wrestling styles. Ahead of its time, Jerry had a preference agile wrestlers over larger wrestlers, actually entertaining within ring shows. Jarrett actually had a lot of the wrestlers who made their names, but their popularity would have started earlier. Jerry Jarrett had wrestlers like Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels and Mark Calloway Undertaker under his contract. As mentioned, agile wrestlers were Jerry's interest. Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels did get stardom in WWE, but it could have been earlier. Owen Hart could have made a bigger impact than his brother Bret Hart. This would vastly change the wrestling landscape. Similar to the vein of Owen, Shawn Michaels could have been mainstream earlier but could have been different like night and day. Jerry Jarrett didn't coddle stars and Shawn's reign of terror may have never happened and possibly influence his main event status. Yes, Jerry wanted agile and athletic, but bravado usually influences wrestlers too. The case of Mark Calloway would be interesting. He may have never transformed into The Undertaker, which could have created a domino effect. Mark may have gotten over because he was an agile wrestler, but that character of The Undertaker may never been. This would be very interesting. In turn, a lot of wrestlers would not be in the mix of influence. Hulk Hogan may have been an afterthought, similar to how Vern Gunn viewed Hulk, star potential but not innovative in style. So the biggest influence is we would never have Hulkamania. This could impact the economics and the spread of pop culture. A bigger impact. Jerry Jarrett focused on the wrestling aspect and not the entertainment factor, so PPV events may not become an important aspect of wrestling. Yes, WWE didn't invent the concept, but Vince looked at the bigger picture, while Jerry Jarrett may not think spreading out was as important, which ultimately hindered the wrestling becoming a bigger influence on entertainment. So this ultimately could mean no WrestleMania, as in a previous what if. WrestleMania is one of the biggest economical aspects of wrestling, both for WWE and indies, where shows are booked on that weekend. So ultimately, talent and impact would be greatly impacted by Jerry Jarrett's purchase at WWE. 2001, Jerry Jarrett wanted to purchase WCW, which never happened, but with owning WWF, this wouldn't been a needed purchase unless he wanted everything under the sun, similar to Vince McMahon Jr. Creative direction too would be changed and the lucha movement would have come earlier. The wrestlers like Rey Mysterio Jr., Eddie Guerrero and others would be bigger names. So the domino effect on other wrestling companies would be interesting. Be sure to check out our Facebook page for all the occurrences in the world of wrestling. If Jerry Jarrett buying WWF may ultimately mean no need for AEW. Wrestlers like Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and numerous others would have been called to perform for Jerry Jarrett's company. As mentioned, Jerry Jarrett looked for agile wrestlers, so AEW may not have been necessary, but in spirit it would have been influenced in wrestling development. No WWE, no monster wrestlers. Jerry Jarrett's vision would be vastly different, but maybe not as one may think. Wrestling would be grounded and not looked upon as sports entertainment, so many people's love for wrestling may have never developed. So AEW may never come to play, but more importantly maybe wrestling wouldn't be an interest for many. So the likes of Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole and others may not want to get into the business. AEW is billed as the alternative to the alternative, but if Jerry Jarrett's WWF or vision would have changed the landscape. Again, with AEW not necessary, the whole world aspect of wrestling would be greatly affected. NJPW, CMLL, and AAA would have been limited to their nations not having spread or having a forbidden door to open. Jerry Jarrett buying WWF would ultimately mean no AEW or concept of it. If you like this content, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribing will give you all the latest shows to enjoy at your own leisure. We appreciate all of our fans. TNA. Again, in the vein of AEW, TNA may not have been created if Jerry purchased either WWF or WCW because the creation was due to the failure of purchasing WCW. So no TNA, that could be impactful in many levels. As mentioned, Jerry Jarrett looked for agile and athletic wrestlers. It's possible that Jerry Jarrett would have brought AJ Styles, Amazing Red, and others to the WWF, so TNA wouldn't have that renaissance of wrestling. WWF and WCW would be the only big companies and most would have similar ideas. Wrestling wouldn't develop into anything really special. It may ultimately be a modified territory system. So TNA would mean no creation of X division and more impactful today, no real women's division. It's true women's wrestling was offered prior to TNA, but it's here it actually evolved into what we know it today. So bigger picture, under Jerry Jarrett, women's wrestling may never become a real aspect and just remain as a novelty. So with no women's division we would not have the likes of Gail Kim, Angelina Love, Awesome Kong, Charlotte Flair, Trish Stratus, Mercedes Moné, Bayley, Toni Storm, etc. Jerry Jarrett would keep wrestling to follow the formula of Southern wrestling, so it wouldn't embrace the pomp and circumstance. WWF versus WCW would basically be two sides of the same sheet, not offering anything different. The indies would be limited in what they have, so no PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, no Hog, House of Glory, no CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling, and no ECW, Eastern Championship Wrestling, Extreme Championship Wrestling. The later of no ECW would be impactful as last week's mention of no Paul Heyman to ECW, so Jerry Jarrett buying WWF would have impacted wrestling as we know it. Vince never getting the money to pay his dad would have created a cataclysmic shift in wrestling. So no WrestleMania, no ECW, no TNA, no AEW, no Women's Evolution, no Hulkamania, no NWO, no True Companies. Well, that's another episode of EveryRing. That's everything wrestling. Hopefully you found this both entertaining and informative. Did I miss anything? Email us at everything@gmail.com. So a big and scary wrestling weekend await us. Let's wrestle.
Champions, June 28, 2025. Making my debut, I'm Asha Killer. My special assignment is to lay out the results of this amazing event. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Number 1. King of the Ring Final, Cody Rhodes vs Randy Orton. Strong match that started slow and methodically but built to a finish that may not have been the most dynamic, but will go a long way in establishing Orton's reversion to the dark side. Result: Rhodes defeated Orton. 2025 King of the Ring, and at SummerSlam Cody Rhodes picked his opponent. Number 2. Riyadh Boulevard Street Fight, Rhea Ripley vs Raquel Rodriguez. As good and tough a battle as this was, hopefully Ripley can move on from here and focus on the Women's World Championship, because there really is no need for any more interaction with the judgment there at this point. Result: Ripley defeated Rodriguez. Rhea stood tall but Rhodes and Perez tried helping Raquel, a new bond. Number 3. Sami Zayn vs Karrion Kross. Despite dominating Zayn for the better part of Saturday's showdown, Kross talked trash. At one point, he backed the former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion into the corner and sprinted across the ring to the other, only for Zayn to meet him there with a helluva kick for the victory. Result: Zayn defeated Kross. Number 4. WWE Men's US Championship. Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu, C, vs Solo Sikoa. What a match! Samoan Werewolf was dominating, then the screws came off. The 7-foot-tall member of the Bloodline obliterated Fatu, delivering a chokeslam onto the announce table that set the Samoan Werewolf up for Sikoa to defeat. Guerrillas of Destiny reunion, where Hikuleo made his debut. Solo Sikoa wins by pinfall with the Samoan Spike, becoming your new WWE United States Champion. Number 5. Queen of the Ring Finals. Asuka vs Jade Cargill was an even contest in the early stages with no real advantage on either side. Asuka was using her technical skill while Cargill stuck with powerhouse approach. When it looked like one star was start to take control, the other countered it. There were several pin attempts in between moves to try and steal a victory that were unsuccessful. Winner, Jade Cargill defeated Asuka. At SummerSlam, Jade Cargill picked her opponent for gold. Number 6. Undisputed WWE Championship match, John Cena, vs CM Punk. Cena grabbed the title to hit Punk. However, he stopped himself and decided not to. Punk found a window of opportunity and surprised him with a GTS, which ended in an unsuccessful win attempt. Cena and Punk traded blows and the champion inadvertently knocked out the referee. Punk hit Cena with another GTS and got a pin that would have won if the referee wasn't taken out. Punk called for another referee, and instead, Burn It Down, fled through the arena. Seth Rollins and his group arrived. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed then took out Punk by throwing him through the announcer's table. Punk and Cena stood in the ring, and Punk extended his hand for a shake. Cena accepted it, but he tried to pull a fast one. Then Rollins came back to hit Punk with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Rollins landed a stomp on his rival, but Cena capitalized on the chance by throwing Rollins out of the ring. He then pinned Punk to sneak out of the ring with his title, leaving Rollins frustrated at the missed opportunity. Wow, what a main event. Now to our...
What an eventful weekend for wrestling fans. Let's just talk about MLW. I know we don't talk too much about them, but the wrestling world is spreading. MLW has signed Diego Hill, an American professional wrestler best known for his time in DPW. Also, Shotzi has arrived and quickly made an impact, and two former WWE stars are the new MLW tag champs, the Skyscrapers, Dyer Bishop, Baron Corbin, and Dijak. Also, NJPW has signed Aaron Wolf. He won the gold medal in the 100 kg judo competition at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. He also has a gold medal from the 2017 World Championships in Budapest and the 2019 All Japan Judo Championship. Hopefully a sign of more signers. Congrats to Guilia winning the WWE Women's US title, a match that was spectacular and was really enthralling. In the world of ineptness and being out of touch, Hall of Famer Teddy Long wants Vince McMahon to come back to wrestling. I understand loyalty, but how clueless to the sexual misconduct is insulting to all the women who wrestle. AEW announced they will bring in women's tag titles, which with a very deep women's division, perfect timing. Hopefully we see a lot of real women's tag teams. TJ, Tear and Anna Jay would be a great inaugural champions. They were teasing Virtuoso and Tear Valkyria team up, and were better than you to have them as tag champs. Also Athena and Billy Starks could be interesting, hopefully they do a great job. Well, let's go to matches of the week, wrestlers of the week and indie star of the week. WWE, Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman vs. Penta. These two have such great chemistry and put on a great match. Braun Breaker needs to be the big dog, and I agree with Undertaker's thought only Braun Breaker should do the spear. TNA champion Trick Williams vs Josh Briggs. Interesting, two of the top-notch matches were the first of the night. Josh Briggs is underrated and this match was uber athletic, plus Trick did some showy moves. Andrade and Rey Fenix vs DIY. Wow, if only Triple H trust tag teams, these four stars put on a masterclass in tag team wrestling. AEW, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson vs. Shane, Swerve, Strickland and Will Ospreay. Two top stars teaming up is just stellar, plus it builds for a bigger match for All In. After the match led to Young Bucks vs Swerve Ospreay, where the winners will become new EVPs. TNA, Knockouts Battle Royal. The match itself was fun, but it allows for more story to develop. Ash by Elegance again impressed. Wrestlers of the week, Guilia, the new women's US champ and continue the dominance of the international superstar. Ibushi, making a successful return after an injury. Hopefully great things to come. Ash by Elegance, winning the Knockouts Battle Royal and continued dominance in the TNA women's division. Plus the Knockouts champs had a bunting against the Inspiration, so storytelling. Indie star of the week. WWE is looking to the world and so are we. Mito, the Bulgarian Punisher, is one of the most impressive wrestlers. He has been in the US, where in AEW he was an enhancement talent, but he has a lot of wrestling pundits are ranting and raving his work ethic. That is another amazing weekend of wrestling. As always, chalo kushti le den.
Wrestling is something special, as you can see our human element dealt with a lot of superstars. King Kong Bundy, a wrestler deserving WWE Hall of Fame. Sherry Martel was an amazing person who helped revolutionize the women's division. The Crusher, who Milwaukee famous, was a classic star. Puppet the Midget was a bigger-than-life superstar who is both engaging and ahead of his time. Wrestling is life and we want to push it forward.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 14, Kenosha Community Television. Remember to tune into my program, Just Talkin', shown right here, Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Channel 14. On the program, we cover community events, talk to nonprofit organizations, and who knows, we may bump into a celebrity now and then. So remember to tune in to Just Talkin' Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. right here on Channel 14.
You are watching Kenosha Community Media. We provide you with education, media, and entertainment, while you provide us with the means to teach, entertain, and communicate. Thank you for allowing us to grow. See what's next for Kenosha Community Media.
Hey kids! Do you guys like cartoons?
I love cartoons!
Do you like to see the old classic cartoons that your families were raised with?
I would love to, but where can I watch those at?
Well, we're bringing back classical cartoons with Mr. Bunker's Cartoon Apocalypse, where we resurrect old cartoons.
Oh, when is it on?
On Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. and Sunday mornings at 10:30, where you get to see classic cartoons like Betty Boop.
I love Betty Boop.
Popeye.
Big Popeye fan.
We have great Huckle and Jekyll.
Oh, I love those.
So Kenosha Community Media is bringing back the classical cartoons with Mr. Bunker's Cartoon Apocalypse.
Question, does Mr. Bonkers have any friends on that show?
He has a lot of friends. We're hosting with Chalk and Manimal, but he has great friends like Chef Luigi.
Look over the start, the kids.
He has Peanut the Peacock.
Hello, kids.
He has Cinnamon the Ape.
What's going on, brothers?
And his friend that also hosts a different show, it's Klutz the Clown.
Hey, kids, it's tough being a clown.
So if you enjoy cartoons, if you want to watch something that's whimsical and nostalgic, please tune into Mr. Bonker's Cartoon Apocalypse, Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 10:30. And we would enjoy to join us because you could be our circus freaks. Bye, kids.
Goodbye, kids.
Hey, Bambinos. Do you like movies?
I sure do. I like the movies.
Yeah, we have a new show called What the Heck Are We Watching?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's a show that we review movies for coming weeks.
No, what are we watching? You said what the heck are we watching? You tell me.
We're watching the movies.
Oh, that's all right. We're watching the movies. Hey, you knew we were doing this promo. How come you didn't put your shoes on? That's a little unprofessional, no?
Because we like to be freelancing, and we every Friday at 5 and Saturdays at 10:30, you can listen to our reviews.
We have a great reviews. We're better than those other jabronis that used to do the reviews, huh?
Yeah, if you like Cisco and Ebert, you'll love us better. What the heck are we doing? Oh, watching.
I don't know what we're doing half the time either, but what the heck are we watching?
What the heck are we watching? We go over movies, we give them thumbs up, thumbs down, if we like them, and basically, we tell you if you want to go see a movie or not.
That's all right. And the most important message you get from the show is, visit your grandparents.
Yeah.
It takes 10 to 15 minutes. Just go see them, give them a kiss, some of the hugs, and go to visit, huh?
So, on Fridays at 5.
And Saturday morning to 10:30.
What the heck are you doing watching?
What are you doing right now? It's what the heck are we watching? Sorry, my wife is suffering some of dementia, but it's a what the heck are we watching?
What the heck are we watching? Bye, Bambinos!
Now, my question I have to ask now, where the heck are we parking, right?
At service!
All right.
Just turned heel. Hosted by Danger Dan and Diablo Angelico, as seen on EveryRing, that's everything wrestling. Behind the curtain look at professional wrestling. A gritty shoot style of interviews where we look at various aspects of wrestling. Ever wanted to know what an indie star needs to do to get their foot in the door? Ever wanted to know what a booker does? Ever wanted to know the purpose of a referee is? Just Turned Heel will plunge into the world of wrestling and look at every facet. Just Turned Heel, YouTube exclusive, starting January 28, 2024.
Beware! Take care! The little green dragon sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys, puppy dog tails, and big, fat snails. Beware! Pull the string! Pull the string! Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater can be viewed on Saturdays at 9 o'clock, Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, and Fridays at midnight. All right, ghoulies, you tune in. You won't be let down.
You haven't seen horror till you've seen horror of the crying skull. See teenagers getting killed. See horror coming at you every scene, and a skull. See the skull coming at you. The skull, and hear her cry. I hope you enjoy the horror of the crying skull.